back to the 2 Point Conversion Podcast. I am your host, Max. Today's topic of agenda is NRL Round 2. Now, quick around the ground score update with the 2PC scoreboard. We saw the Melbourne Storm defeat the South Sydney Rabbitohs 15-14. Sloppy game, close finish towards the end. Close game also. The first game of the Friday was the St. George Illawarra Dragons hosting Penrith Panthers. Penrith Panthers winning this 20 points to 16. Now it was a little bit bigger of a score, but we definitely got out of the second match on Friday that the Roosters did bounce back to beat Manly 26-12, and that's the one thing. If there's anything you want to take out of the first two rounds, it's that the Eels, Titans, Dragons are actually somewhat decent this season, and Manly, South, and I guess you could say Canberra probably not going to be at their best. Canberra losing on Saturday 26-6 to the Cowboys after they beat the Sharks round 1 in a close finish. The Sharks improved. Canberra maybe on a bit too much of a high and didn't improve. But yeah, the Cowboys beat them 26-6, and the Sharks beat the Parramatta Eels, which was probably the upset on Saturday, 18-16. And Gold Coast continuing their good form, even though they lost against Parramatta, but they continued their good form and won 20-18 against the Warriors. Sunday, Knights in great form. Their halves pairing have been a real surpriser this season, honestly. Jake Clifford playing some good stuff. I like the look of Dominic Young, actually. Solid. Hasn't had much opportunity to play because of the other people they've got, but he's getting his chance now, and I think he's really showing. But the Knights won that 26-4. And then, close game also, but Adam Reynolds' first game for the Brisbane Broncos, I thought he did well, and he helped his side as skipper to beat the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium, formerly known as ANZ Stadium, and for those that don't know names, where they host the grand final every year apart from last year, 16 points to 10. Got my 2PC beanie on today. Credit goes out to my sister Annie. She got this made for me as a surprise. If you want to see merch as a thing, I guess, comment it and I can maybe get some made. Now, my 2PC medal points this week. I had 1 point going to Adam Reynolds' first game as skipper, and he helped the Broncos to a close win over the Bulldogs. Ooh, good coffee. I thought that was, Adam Reynolds showed a good performance. And, out of the first two rounds, I'll say Brisbane, I don't know about everyone else, but I think they'll be better than my first opinions, but I still see them missing the 8. But Adam Reynolds did help his side to win on the weekend, so he's got my 1 point. My 2 points went to Harry Grant. The first, 50 minutes of the Rabbits Storm game, Harry Grant was on fire. There was a period of 10-12 minutes where Melbourne got 14 unanswered points to lead 14-0, and Harry Grant was a humongous part of that. Big runs up the field, big long dashes, catching the Rabbits defence offside or not ready, falling asleep, and he helped set up a good 80-metre try for the Storm. My number 3 points. My 3 points this week goes to the Cronulla Sharks, Nicho Hynes. I think Nicho Hynes was phenomenal against Parramatta. His kicking game, like goal kicking and stuff, he was a bit scrappy at first, but he kicked the goals when it mattered most, and he got the job done in the end for Cronulla. So I'm giving him my 3 points for this weekend. As always, comment if you agree or disagree. Just fix that Reese here. There was no Footy Card Friday this week. I decided to leave Reese Wesser up one more week, as we were getting into things last week, and he wasn't really up for that long because a couple of videos were getting into it and didn't have setups and stuff done. But Friday, going onwards, there will be a Footy Card Friday. Now, the referees, let's talk about the referees. How can they be so inconsistent? In the St. George Dragons game, versus the Penrith Panthers. Jaden Sewer was sent off for a late shot on the halfback, Sean O'Sullivan. Now, Panthers fans probably say he deserved it, but I've spoken to a couple of Panthers fans that I'm friends with, and even they said it was a bit harsh. Now, I think Penrith should have got a penalty from it, but I don't think Jaden Sewer should have been sent to the bin, because honestly, in the Rabbits game, there was a couple of late shots that the refs either gave warnings or gave penalties for. No sin bins. Jaden Sewer does one sin bin, and a different ref to the Rabbits game, I will say, goes, nah, on your bike, and sends him to the bin. And it happened in other games across the round as well. Like last night in the Broncos game, there was a late shot that I think Canterbury challenged. They won that, and they got a penalty from it. And I believe the man with the late shot was Pat Carrigan. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but he wasn't sent to the bin. The ref went up to him, and different ref from the ref that sent Jaden Sewer, right? And it was on the halfback as well. It was, but the ref went up to him and goes, Pat, that was late, no more, happens again, you go on, and gave the Bulldogs a penalty. But Jaden Sewer didn't even get a warning. And I'm not going to say that won Penrith the game, but that's 10 minutes in the bin, a very harsh 10 minutes in the bin that really hurt the Dragons, because Penrith scored most of their points during that time. I just love to see I just love to see the refs be consistent. It's like they don't talk about it. Like, I'd love the refs to get together, have a mothers' meeting, whatever you want to call it, an annual meeting, and go, these are the rules, and this is what I want for the year going forward. I'm going to call it like this, so how about everyone else calls it like this, type thing. So that we're not getting high tackle penalty, high tackle sin bin, high tackle nothing. Yeah, I don't know. But looking into it, I thought the round was pretty good. I liked what I saw from Cronulla and Newcastle. And to be honest, my surprise of the round, and I'm going to go the upset of the round, was the Cowboys. I didn't expect them. Yes, Canberra was sloppy last week, and they were better than Cronulla to get the job done, but a lot of people have the Cowboys for the wooden spoon, as well as Newcastle, for that matter of a fact. And they both got 26 points, keeping their opposition to 6 or lower. And, the Cowboys played really, really well. And I don't think a lot of people saw it coming. Valentine Holmes was good with the boot. He 3 from 4. Kyle Felt got a try. He played well. The Hammer played well. Like, the Cowboys at home just looked like a good unit last night. Well, not last night, when they played on Saturday. I don't know. I just think, look, you look at previous seasons at clubs to determine what they're going to do. That's what you do in the off-season. That's what predictions are for. But why do I feel like that this year everyone's predictions are just far wrong? Like, people are getting tips wrong, clearly. A lot of people are getting tips wrong. But, right, yeah, they lost players, and yes, teams moved on. You can argue that. And sure, there were a lot of people that I've heard say that Penrith weren't going to be as good. And sure, I was one of those. But so far in the first 2 rounds, they've looked pretty decent. And apart from Melbourne and maybe the Roosters, I don't think the top 8 is going to be what we think. Like, sure, the Eels were there last year, and sure, the Titans were there last year. But, the Titans, for a lot of people, were 7 or 8. Now, these first 2 rounds, they've played a lot better than what I thought, and what most people thought. They could easily be higher up the ladder. Parramatta, a lot of people were tipping top 4, top 5, and I can still see that. But you got a game that they played really, really well, beating the Titans, and people thought they're winning the comp. Then you got a game that they played well, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough to get the job done. And people go, oh, well, they lost to Cronulla. Like, nothing against Cronulla, but, I don't know. And then you got the Rabbits, you got Manly. The first 2 games, both teams have just dropped off completely. Like, Rabbits blown out of the park by the Broncos. Manly blown out of the park by Penrith. Like, don't get me wrong, Penrith played really well, and Manly didn't. And to be honest, Broncos didn't play well. Neither did the Rabbits. But Broncos were just a better team on the night. But it was still a blowing up in the park of an upset, right? And Manly, well, they got blown up score-wise. But this week, the same thing happened. I feel like Manly go, oh, we got to bounce back. But they were also coming up against the Roosters, who had to bounce back. So that wasn't going to work for Manly's favour. And the Rabbits were like, now's our chance. We've come out and we've lost to a bottom 4 team from last season. Okay, it wasn't our greatest performance, but we got to do better. We need to go out and beat Melbourne to show that we can do it. And if we can't, well, it's going to be a long season. And they did that. They went out there and showed that they could do it. They didn't win the game, obviously. But the first 65 minutes or so, the Rabbits, people in my household were going, like, Rabbits wooden spoon. Like, my dad, I've never really seen him get angry, but, like, at the football. But, the game on Thursday night against the Storm, he was angry as all hell. And, I didn't get angry because, I ride with the emotion of, you got to let the new halves, the new backline develop and stuff like that. And I know you could see people like Cody Walker getting frustrated. I get it. And to a certain degree, stay up, Reese. To a certain degree, yeah, the Rabbits were, I could tell, the Rabbits were actually frustrating me. But I saw enough in that last 15 minutes that confidently proved to me that the Rabbits will do alright this season. But it just makes me think, like, there are a lot of people that underestimate or have teams a lot lower. And I think we're in for a completely different season than normal. And I like to see that every team has been somewhat competitive so far. Yeah, sure, there's been matchups that have been blown out and scores and not really competitive. But, take that with a grain of salt. I think this league's going to be exciting this season. And I don't think it's going to be as far apart as people thought. Who knows? We could get to halfway or the end of the season and I could be wrong. But I'm really excited to see what the rest of this season brings. Now, Wednesday is our weekday warm-up. And I will be going over tips and other things for that week. And it will be the last day of Reese Wesser. So tune in on Friday for our our footy card Friday. And also keep out during the week. I will be doing another video, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, about Supercoach. Probably just TikTok and Instagram at this rate. Don't know about the YouTube. And I'll be doing some live streamings of Rugby League Live. Those that are interested in that. But yeah, this has been 2 Point Conversion Podcast. Round 2 review. I like what I'm seeing so far. I think we've got an interesting league and an interesting year ahead. Comments are always welcome. 2 Point out.